to the APLCrafts channel. If you're new, welcome. Everything that I talk about and everything that, every place you can find me will be listed down below. I don't like to go through it because everybody does that and we all know where to find the things. So today, I have two finished objects, four finished objects to talk about today, and a couple of whips to talk about. And so let's get started, right? Okay, so what I'm wearing today is the V-Aurora, and I don't really know how to pronounce her first name. I don't know if it's Osa or Asa Yanezik. And shouldn't be putting my chest in your face. This is the pattern. And here you go. So this was a doozy. Oh my God. Okay. Well, first of all, the pattern was written different than what I'm used to. That doesn't mean the pattern was written badly. It's just different from what I was used to. So that took some getting used to. Okay, I think I said that word enough. So then the construction was different, which was awesome because every time I pick out a new pattern in it, I'm always looking for something new to learn. So what was new for me with this pattern was that you start, like, all this here is done flat, and then you join and then do the rest. So that was new. And it was I-cord cast on, and then you pick up and then do the things. So that was fun. But the problem I was having was reading the chart along with the written instructions. And you'll see that on my project page on Ravelry. I go into depth about that. But really what it was because you have to repeat, obviously, to get, like, I don't know if you can really see it, like these lace parts here. I was starting to mess up where, like, each repeat was going. So I had to troubleshoot that until I figured it out, which ended up making a personal design feature because I was messing it up on the arms. As you can see, like, you're gonna have to look at my chest, sorry. So, like, you see how the lace portion here, like the eyelets, they zigzag, right? So that's supposed to happen on the arm. So clearly, that's where I messed up. So I was like, you know what? Instead of continuing to, like, mess up until I got it figured out, I'm just gonna do it straight. And you know what? If you didn't know what you were looking for, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that I messed it up. It looks like it's supposed to be there. So, yay. Now, yeah, it is low cut, but it's meant to be that way. Because if you see in the picture, she's wearing a shirt underneath it because, I mean, you got all these eyelets and stuff. And if you want to show skin, hey, you do you. I don't want to show that much skin, so you wear a shirt underneath it. So this is probably not the best shirt to wear underneath it, but that's what I have for now. So it's really good, like, spring and fall type of transition shirt. And I made almost full-length sleeves. I was actually going for 3/4, but when I blocked it, it ended up being a little bit longer, which is fine with me. Because I can still, you know, pull them up. Because whenever I knit any shirts with fingering weight, I don't like them to be, like, long. I like them to be 3/4 or halfway or something like that. So, let's turn around. I don't like the back. For whatever reason, the back is really bulky. Even if I, like, pull it all the way down, it's still kind of, I mean, it has to go over my butt in order for all the slack to go away. Which I guess is okay if I really want to pull it all the way down, but then it starts to get a little uncomfortable, and, you know, it's going to ride back up, and it's going to be bulky, and you got to keep pulling it back down. I'm not going to do it over. It's just something that's a little bit annoying. Oh, I did do some modification. This was the largest size, and the largest size was actually smaller by, like, a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of my actual bust size. So what I did, and I didn't realize this, well, I realized that the size was going to be smaller, but I figured, okay, with I was just going to knit it to pattern and then just block it out. But I inadvertently made a mistake in my favor. So what happened was when I got to the part where you're starting to join, you know, you're doing the arm shaping and stuff, I realized that the arm was going to be too small because I have to modify my arms on everything just because I have big upper arms. That's just the way it is. So what I did was I added stitches here and here, you know, right before joining, which was not the best place if you're going to add stitches. I really should have done it higher up, but I wasn't thinking about it until the last minute. But it ended up working out because it fits fine. So yeah, I did the same thing here and here. And then as you're joining, I was like, oh man, this armhole is going to be small. So I backstitched down here and added 5 stitches. Now my gauge on this sweater, what was it, 24 or 25 stitches for 4 inches on a US 4. So I added 5 stitches on both sides, which ended up giving me like 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches, something like that, in addition. And I was like, okay, great. Well, now my arms are going to work. And then I didn't realize, this is where the mistake was in my favor. So I didn't realize, and it's kind of a duh, that like, as I'm doing the body, that because I added the stitches here, I added to the body, which fixed my problem of, how much am I going to block this to get it to fit right. So yay. So I wrote that down too on my project page so that you can see where the modifications are. Now I also did write on my project page about this, that if you are bigger than me, because I'm a 48, 122 centimeter, my unprofessional opinion is you could add your stitches here on both sides, add them on the arms, and add it on the back. Though, considering how much slack I have here, you probably don't want to do too much. And then do your underarm, and you could probably get up to 50-inch, maybe, before the pattern goes wonky. But like I said, it's my unprofessional opinion. I am not a knitting design pattern maker. So, what else do I want to say about this? Otherwise, it's a good pattern. I think not too many people have knitted it, and I don't remember. I think this came out in like 2013 or something like that. But go check it out. It's actually really, really great. Once you get over it, I think my biggest problem with pattern knitting is I do read through the patterns, but like I tend to skim sometimes, and I start late at night. That's a bigger problem. And so like I go, oh my God, how do I do this? How do I do this? And I start freaking out, and I'm like, just keep reading, because inevitably the answer is somewhere. But I keep skipping over parts because I think I got it, and then I didn't get it, and then I want to cry. Although with this pattern, I relied very heavily on pictures in other people's project pages. So FYI, and I know I need to be a little bit better at it too, is when you take pictures, kind of get up and close and personal with it, because I really had to look like here. I'm not looking at people's chest, but I'm trying to look at the pattern, it's like, because you don't know especially if it's something that's confusing to you, you don't know if you did it right or not. And so having good, clear pictures, because there's a feature on Ravelry where you click it and then it zooms anyway. But you want to have good, clear pictures so that other people can see what's going on as well. So I think that's it for this. Okay, I am going to wardrobe change into my next finished object. Be right back. Okay, this is the Daraja by Amy Christoffers, and it's a Barocco pattern. There you go. What size did I think this was okay, I was right in the middle, because it goes up to, I don't know if it'll focus, but it goes up to 60 inches on the bust. So, I forgot to mention, this yarn on the V-Aurora is Hawthorne Knit Picks Hawthorne, and the Eugene colorway. All right, back to this one. This is also Knit Picks. DK Swish, I think it is. Really nice. Oh my goodness. It does pill a little bit, but I did wear the heck out of this when I was done. Mostly because it's just so friggin' cozy, right? So this is the colorway Bark. And it's got drop shoulder, which I've never done before. So because I've never done it before, I thought I was being like savvy, right? So when I was doing the arm portion, I added stitches, right? Thinking I was adding around, like, well, I guess I was, but like I was adding it. No, I wasn't, because I was adding it out, and I didn't realize I was adding it out instead of this way. If you do drop stitches, drop shoulder, you know what I'm talking about. So when I go to like getting ready to sew all this up, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was adding length this way instead of adding it that way, so that when I close it up, it's actually fitting my upper arm. So I had to knit another couple of rows so that when I joined it together, it was actually fitting this way, because that's what I wanted, was the circumference, not the length. So the drop shoulder is a little bit longer than it should have been. It should have been like up to about here, but it's fine. My biggest beef with this pattern is this part. Maybe I could have done it better. In the pattern, you just sew it up. Now, I think if I were to do this sweater again, I would 3-needle bind off. I think that would look better and give it a cleaner seam because it looks really sketchy. I mean, it blocked out better. You know, it looks better now that it's blocked out, but beforehand, it was not very nice. New to me on this pattern was was actually what drew me to the pattern was this cable neckline. You see that? I had never done that before, and that's what I was like, okay, it's a basic sweater, but I love that neckline, and so I have to have that just for the neckline. So that was interesting. It as you're knitting bottom up, and then you start working on the neckline and the cabling, and then like you're sewing the cable neckline in, which, you know, like I said, I've never done that before, and then it just meets in the middle. So it's really, the biggest part is paying attention to how long you're making your neckline so that when it meets, you don't have like extra material or extra fabric. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's not the most flattering color on me. It's more muted than I thought it was going to be. But like I said, it's super cozy. Like this yarn is cozy. Oh my God. And I've worn the heck out of it. And, you know, there's some pilling, but it's not bad. It's like I said, I've worn this a lot. So it's probably almost time to start depilling it. Underarm looks good. Like there's not a whole lot of pilling going on, but it's there, you know. And here's the back. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, and what else? What else? Okay, my next finished object. I do not have the pattern with me, but you can find it on Ravelry. It was free when it came out, and that's when I snagged it. But now it's a paid-for pattern. I write down on the bottom who it's from. I know it's using Ba yarns. I didn't use Ba yarns, but I know that the pattern's using Ba yarns, but I can't remember who put the pattern out. But like I said, I'll write it down below. But it's called the Gradient Bias Wrap. So you start off with eyelet rows down here, and then you just knit, stockinette until you get to the next color. It's almost like a fade, but not really. Well, I guess it is kind of like a fade. And then you start striping in your next color, knit, put in your next color, knit. Now, I could have made this longer, but I needed these needles for my whip that I'm going to show you soon. So, like, this part here, this eyelet, is supposed to be like 10 inches, and I wasn't doing that because I just wanted to be done with this darn thing already. And it's not an infinity scarf. I kind of made that way. And as I was binding off, I'm like, oh, I probably should have done it this way, right? On the wrong side so that it's nice and smooth, but I didn't do that. But really, who's going to pay attention? You know, so that's what it looks like on the right side. And I haven't blocked this yet. So right now it's kind of cowl-like, which I don't like because I feel like I'm suffocating. But once I block it, you know, I'll get like a good another 5 or 6 inches out of this, and there'll be enough space. So I'm not worried about it. But it's very cozy. This is the Barocco. I use Barocco Vintage DK for this color. And on Ravelry it actually shows up as elderberry, but that's not written on the tag. And then these two colors are both from Queen's Yarn Boutique. Her MCN. I think this one here is Vintage Rose or something like that. I do not remember the name of this color. But these two colors are plugged into my Ravelry. I didn't plug in this color, but I'll go back and do that when I link it down below. So you can find that if you choose to. So, yeah, it's really nice. It's long. Well, not long. It's deep. And cozy AF. Indeed. Looking forward to wearing that one. And another one that I finished this next thing I'm going to show you a long time ago. I just got to the point where I blocked it like a few days ago. It was sitting on my shelf over here in this empty space for a while. So it was probably in the last podcast too. I think it was up there. But hold on. So I don't know who made this design. It's on the Ravelry page, and I will link it. But it's called the Waterfall Blanket, and it's a free pattern. And I think you have to, if I remember correctly, you have to go to the website. So it's free on her website. But this is Loops and Threads Cozy Wool. And I don't remember the name of the color. But it's really pretty. It's simple cabling, so if you're looking for a cable project that's simple and you want to practice, you know, your left and right leaning cables, this is a really good pattern for that. And it's got like your garter edge. And yeah, when I blocked it, I think I got a good 5 or 6 inches all around. So it grew pretty well. But I'm going to put on this video at the end how I block things that are superwash or things that are like, this yarn is 50% acrylic, 50% wool, how to get that stretched. Because whenever I knit anything, I knit it with the intention that I know it's going to stretch. And so I use that in my favor. So I actually aid the project to get stretched. So when I washed this, I think it was this one I put in the video. Yeah. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Well, what I did to get the stretch on both sides, just to aid in it, you know, because it's going to be super heavy because it's in the water, I just make sure I'm not stretching it in a bad way. So like I'll take this part and this part and hold it so I'm not killing it, and then I'll just go whee, whee, and all that weight would just stretch it out. And then I put it back down in the tub or a basin or whatever you're going to use. And do the same thing so you're not killing your edges. And then the same thing. And then all that water will help stretch it out. And that's all you want to do. You don't want to overdo it because then you might make your pattern wonky. But yeah, it's a really nice little, it's actually meant to be a baby blanket. So it's using, I think the original pattern was using, might have been fingering weight or DK, and this is a chunky. So clearly it's going to be way bigger. But it's a really nice lap blanket. I just followed the pattern and used different yarn. But because of the way the repeats are on the cabling, you can easily make it as long as you want, really. If you want to make it king size, you know, go for it. You just got to count the repeats and go from there. All right. Oh, I have 5 finished objects. I made a hat. So originally this black yarn, it's the same yarn as that blanket. It's just a different color. So it's Loops and Threads Cozy Wool. And I was going to actually add a border to that to make the blanket bigger. And then I decided at the last minute I wasn't going to do that. So I had 3 skeins of this chunky yarn and didn't know what I was going to do with it. So I found this this free pattern on Ravelry. I don't remember the name of that either, but I'll link it down below. But basically what it is, it's just it's like a stair step. Because I know it's black yarn, so hopefully you can see it. But it kind of just goes in diagonal. You can kind of see that. And it's got the brim. So what I did was the original pattern was Aran weight, and this is a chunky. And I used this on a N needle, which is, I don't know what the millimeter is on that. It can't be 6.5. I don't know. But it's the letter N. So I made it a little bit longer. I'm going to mess up my hair so bad. Oh my God. Yeah. Not that my hair wasn't already a mess. But I made it a little bit longer because I like a slightly slouchy hat. Put a little faux fur pom-pom on it. Yeah. Super cozy. I needed something quick. I'm going to Toronto at the end of the year. And I needed something with a little bit of wool to keep me warm. And there you go. And I love these pom-poms. I got them on Amazon. But they just snap. So all I have to do is just figure out, like, you know, all the pom-poms have the pointy end out, the male. So you just sew it on with the female on the outside, and then there you go. And that way when you want to wash it, you're not messing up your pom-pom. Indeed. Okay. Oh, 6 whips. I should probably count. 6 whips. I made a basket. So I had this old yarn sitting in my stash, and I was like, I need to use this. I'm never going to use it for anything else. I'm starting to put all my old scraps and stuff into a big scrap blanket, and you'll see that on my Ravelry page as well. But I just made this big old basket, right? Put all my projects in, and made handles. Let's see, I think this is like 9, 18, what is that? 18 times pi, whatever that is. That's what the circumference is. Guys, really, measure your thumb to your middle finger, right? And you've got a ruler everywhere you go. You need like a ballpark of how much like the length of something. Bam. Just saying. I do it all the time. All right, so made handles, and then this little alien thing. My power supply on my computer went out a couple weeks ago, and so I don't even know what part of the computer this was on. But like when I had my stepson put my computer back together, this ended up going back on there, and I wasn't gonna fool with it. So instead of throwing it away, I just sewed it into my basket. So there you go, upcycling. Indeed, and this I know this yarn was Bernat Baby, but I couldn't tell you the colors because it was years ago that I bought it. And in it, fabric tape, because of course, need fabric tape. And then this is where my whips come in. All right. This is whip number 1, which is about 60% done. I don't know if you'll be able to see the design. Yeah, a little bit. Of course, that's the back. This is the Clean Ocean Shawl by Nordic Stitches. And I don't think she's got it going on anymore, but when I bought the pattern, yeah, because it was for 6 months. When I bought the pattern, all of her profit from the pattern was going toward a Clean Ocean conservatory charity type thing. And the yarn, again, is Queen's Yarn Boutique. I'm blanking on the name. It's in my project page. And this is her fingering weight. And it's merino nylon. What else? It's really cool. I like it. It's actually I might be showing you the wrong way. Yeah, I am. It goes this way. So all the V's are going down instead of up, which I like. I like that design. I think it's interesting. So when I'm done with it, it'll be hanging up there because that's what I do with all the shawls that I finish up. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is Wolves Within, and that'll be linked on my project page as well. And there's not a whole lot to show here, and I won't show it a lot because for real, this project is going to take me like 2 years to finish because it's double knitting. And I started it months ago. I haven't talked about it yet because there's really just not much to show. I'm only completely done with the first panel, and I've started the second panel. Got some tangles going on. So you can kind of make it out. If you go to the project page, you'll see it'll link to this actual pattern. So what makes this double knitting pattern interesting was that the woman who designed it does a lot of like, I think it's for video games or something. She does like, it's like pixelated work or design work or something, and so she incorporated that into her knitting. So if you look back, my husband better not be watching this because this is for him. He doesn't watch my stuff. You can kind of see the bottom of the wolf's face. That's the nose, that's the mouth, the side of the face, and then on the other side, not so much, but you know, that's the dark side. Dark wolf and the light wolf. So I think I'll probably show this like maybe again in the, there's somebody walking around out there, sorry. I'll probably show this again in the spring. I'll definitely show it every single time I finish a panel. And it takes me like a couple months to do a panel because I really cannot stomach doing more than like 4 rows at a time. Because it's just, this is the first time I've ever done double knitting. So if you see down here, I messed up a little bit trying to figure out the chart. But once I got it, it was good to go. But yeah, it's my first and last double knitting project. It's not for me, but it's a labor of love. It's the only thing he's getting. Nobody asked me for anything. I don't gift knit because there's nobody to gift knit for, which honestly, I am so happy about. I'm just saying, because that's, if somebody wants something, they come to me. And people do come to me, but then at least I know they want it, instead of going, oh, I hope they like this, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, then you never see them wear it or whatever. At least I know that when they come to me, it's because they want it. But I know he's going to want this, because the only thing he wears is scarves if I make him anything at all. And he is like super freaking into wolves. So he'll love it. All right. My last work in progress, I just started 2 nights ago. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness, with the tangling. Not much to show here, but next podcast, it'll probably be done. Upside down. This is the back panel. This is the Nishibi by Carol Feller. I don't know how well it's going to show up. I mean, this is all black and white because I don't have color on my printer. Sorry, not sorry. So it's like, it's all diagonal lines and straight lines, and it's very, very flattering for me. But yeah, if you go on Ravelry, you'll see it. She's also using purple yarn. So what I did here is I dyed my own. This is mine. I don't have this in the shop, but it's really super similar to my Ichiban. It's just missing like a color. I wanted to play around a little bit. This is on my Polworth DK. That's backwards. But yeah, the setup row on this was a little bit weird, and I messed up slightly, but not so much that you can notice it. So like, my mess up is, where is it? Right here, which on the right side is all pearls. So you'll probably almost never notice it unless you're staring really hard. So yay. And I think I messed up a tiny bit on the short rows because there's short row shaping on the back. But other than that, so far it's been pretty easy. Knock on wood. Yeah. So that should be done next time I make another video. See, I think that's it. If you're watching this podcast and it is not December 2nd yet, I do have a sale going on in my shop. You can find all the links down below. It's 20% off. Always free shipping. So take advantage of that if you want to do some Christmas, gifting or whatever for your knitter and crochet and weaver friends. And I'll probably do updates on my Instagram stories just to let you know where the inventory is. There are some colorways that are going away. I haven't decided which ones yet, but I'm kind of getting tired of making some of them. So my next update, not today's update on Instagram stories, but maybe in like a week or so, I'm going to say, hey, these colors are going away. So you might want to look around for that. And I think that's it. Yeah. All right. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you some stuff around on the outside. I've caught some deer the other day, so I have a video of that, and my video on how I stretch out my yarn for my superwash so that it fits properly, and how I make my PSLs, because it is not Christmas yet. It is still PSL season. For me anyway. And so I put in a little thing on how I make my PSLs. Oh, and I also have video on 2 other whips. See, I came in this thing talking about how I have 4 whips and I really have like a bajillion. Yeah, I'm caffeinated. Okay, so at the end of this, I've got a granny blanket that I made for my cousin. And that's in there. I just kind of show a picture and talk about it a little bit because that I had to send that off. And then there was another one I sent off, and that was the Wingspan by Calvé. That was, getting pretty popular there for a minute. And I think there's like 600 projects on that so far. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's that big shawl that's got feathers. It looks like, it's part of an eagle or something. So I have that in there, and I think that's it. Okay. So now I'm finally saying goodbye, and I will talk to you later. Stay blessed. Just occurred to me as I was making my pumpkin spice latte that I can show you how I make mine. So I already have my coffee measured out in here, but in my Talenti jar, I've got some, I don't know if you can see that. Focus. It's Starbucks, like breakfast blend Starbucks. And I've got pumpkin spice flavored coffee from Trader Joe's. Now, if you saw my pantry organization video, you'll know why I have coffee in Talenti jars. Basically, I'm just grinding up whole bean and then sticking it in a container to reuse. So anyway, I've got 2 tablespoons of Starbucks coffee. Now you can use any plain flavored coffee you want. Doesn't matter. That's just what I had on hand. So I put 2 tablespoons in here, and then 2 tablespoons of pumpkin spice latte. And then in here, I've got a blend that I made that I'm going to add into here. So what is this? This is raw sugar, and you could do any ratio of spices that you want. So I have in here, I think I put like a tablespoon of cinnamon, and then I did eighth of a teaspoon of like clove and nutmeg, because those are really strong, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger and maybe allspice. And then I just mix it together, you know, shake it around, blah, 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 blah. And then what I do is I take just a tiny bit. So I think that comes out to about 1/8 if you really want to like get down and measure. It's about 1/8. And then I have some regular Hershey's cocoa. And same thing, you want to get about 1/8. Stick that in there. And then that's it. Oh, and then of course, you know, I think the actual directions for coffee is like 2 tablespoons per 1 6-ounce of water or something like that. I just fill it up to like in between the 4 and the 6 for 4 tablespoons. Yeah, it's a little thin, but I'm a little bougie with my coffee, so I thin it to the point where it still tastes good and it's not watered down a lot, if that makes sense. And then trust me about the chocolate. Just trust me. I know it doesn't seem like it goes, but it goes. Not sponsored. That's just, by the way, if you're looking for a good thermos, like for real, this thing, okay, yeah, it costs like, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks, but I'm telling you, it will last you like all friggin' day. And if you put ice drinks in there, it'll last you till like the next day. Worth your money. That's all I'm saying. Huge fan. I don't know how well you can see, but I found some deer in the backyard on this day, and so I thought I'd share them with you. Seems to be a family that's back there, and not too many this year. I think there are 4 or 5. Last year we had 7 or 8. So here is my wingspan. This is the first blocking. I hear that it has to be aggressively blocked. So I re-dyed it because I had to add more yarn on the tips. So this was all white, and so I re-dyed it. Wasn't planning on any of the breaking happening, but I kind of like the fact that it's kind of on the bottom of the feathers. I think it looks neat. I'm digging it. And then it's kind of like a gradient a little bit. But yeah, I haven't measured it out yet. It looks like it's probably 60 inches from tip to tip on the feathers. So yeah, hopefully the person likes it. I think later on today I'm gonna go ahead and reblock it, like stretch it out a little bit more, and then that should be it. This is the granny stripe blanket made with red heart yarns in royal blue, amethyst, pink, spring green, and bright yellow. I literally woke up not that long ago, but I casted off or bound off my V-Aurora by Osa Janezik. I think that's how you say her name. Last night, like 11:30. So I woke up this morning and I'm like, I get to block my sweater today. It's not really a sweater. It's more like a t-shirt. But since I'm in Middle Tennessee, most of my clothes are knit with superwash yarn. So I'm going to show you what I do with my superwash yarn because, yeah, it does stretch, which is why a lot of people try to avoid superwash yarns when they knit stuff. But I'm going to show you what I do. And if you watch any of my podcast videos, I usually talk about how far down I knit it just because I know it's going to stretch. So I compensate for that in the knitting. And this is where I do the stretch to get those extra inches that I talk about in my podcast videos, if that makes sense. I'm not caffeinated yet. This is a bad idea, but I'm doing it anyway. So just hang with me, okay? All right. So I already have, oh, you know, I just got my hands wet. All right, let me show you. There's my sweater, shirt, whatever. And big hand, okay. So I fold the arms on themselves, and then I just, like this, and let the water stretch my shirt. And I do it on the other side. Let the water stretch the shirt. I do not stretch the arms, just the shirt part, like the body part. And that's it. That's all I do. And you don't need to do much, but that's all you have to do. And then you get the extra 2 to 3 inches that you're needing, and then, you know, it blocks out fine. Just make sure you get to the right proportions when you pin it out. That's it.